This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
The Greatest Matter by Conor Reid. Episode 6, Shot While Trying to Escape.
So, what do you think Diarmuid wants to talk to you about?
I don't know. He just said he'd been talking to an old friend of his and he needed to see me urgently. And apparently it was so urgent that it had to be in Kingstown, where he has business meetings today, and not at my house, where he was going to be this evening anyway. So here we are on a lovely train trip to the seaside, and not even a chance of a swim.
Yes, a bit cold now, even for you. Well, look, it must be something important.
I know. And thanks for coming along, by the way. You didn't have to.
Yes, I did. And anyway, I love the train.
Well, thank you anyway. Oh, is this us?
Yes, this is Kingstown. Come on, don't forget your coat.
I've got it. Oh, look! There's Diarmuid. He's on the platform. Diarmuid! Over here! Good morning.
Margie, I'm so glad you made it so quickly. Francis, good morning. I didn't know you were coming.
Morning, Diarmuid. You know I love a trip to the seaside.
Right. Well, let's get off the platform. Why don't we walk down towards the pier?
Diarmuid, what's this all about?
Yeah. Sorry for the dramatic message, but I have to be at this meeting and I thought it would be easier for you to come out here.
Yeah, sure. What else would I be doing?
Seriously, Margie, this is important. You know my old friend Matthew Hanrahan?
Matt, who was a few years ahead of us in school.
The very one. When I came out of my meeting this morning, he was in the lobby of the hotel. Said he'd been looking for me. He was hesitant to tell me the full story at first, but Margaret, I think you're in danger.
What?
In danger? From whom?
Well, Matt got promoted recently. He's a police detective now. He wouldn't tell me much at first, but he said there's a major investigation underway. Some bigwig from the British Army is leading it and has set up some sort of army special unit with the police. Matt isn't involved directly in the case, but he said he was coming to me as a friend to talk about you, Margie. He said your house was searched.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Margaret, why didn't you tell me?
I didn't want to worry you. Some police came around, had a look, found nothing, and left. They were just trying to intimidate me, because I was asking questions around this murder in the Phoenix Park.
Jesus, Margie. What are you wrapped up in? Francis, are you not even a little concerned for your friend?
Well, of course I am.
Matt said this case was big. There was serious figures involved, and if you hadn't already got the message, to get out of this immediately.
I will.
Good.
As soon as I've worked out what's going on and what the story is.
Margaret!
Diarmuid, I know you're worried, and I appreciate it. But this is a huge story, a major scoop for any journalist. I'm well able to look after me.
This is much bigger than...
I said I'm well able to look after myself. And if it is getting out of hand, I'll step away. You know I'm good at this, Diarmuid. Who else would have realised that fraudster ex-wife of yours was stealing from you?
I know, and I've told you.
Nobody. And you would have been fleeced for everything you were worth, just like her previous victims. The money Dad left you. Gone.
I know.
And do I hold it over you? Have I ever asked you for anything?
No.
No. I found out the truth. I told you, and I left you to deal with it quietly. So I'm asking you for this. Just leave me be. Francis and I are onto something here, and we intend to find out the truth.
Fine, but I'm going to keep an eye on all this, and if it gets too dangerous...
We'll be careful. Very discreet. There's no need to worry. Now, haven't you meetings to get to? We're going to get some food. Come on, Francis.
Nice seeing you again, Diarmuid. I'll look after her. Don't worry.
Don't you want to know who was killed?
What?
If you're going to insist on investigating this, I might as well tell you who was killed.
What? Who? Did Matt tell you?
Yes. He said it was going to be public knowledge very soon anyway, and obviously you didn't hear from him, but it was the Chief Secretary's son, James Redgrave.
Oh, shit.
Margaret!
Sorry, but this is big. I knew it was someone important, so it was political then. Another Phoenix Park murder.
Hence the major investigation. Apparently, the Chief Secretary had just got back from London that afternoon, visiting the Queen on some important business. And a few hours later, his son was brutally murdered.
Fantastic. I mean, obviously not the murder, but now we're getting somewhere. That and Lombroso are both definitely leads.
Who?
Long story. Listen, Diarmuid, I love you, and I know you have my best interests at heart, so I promise to be careful, and truly, thank you for your concern. And the inside tip.
You are welcome. I love you too, Margie.
Right. Fran, are we eating or what?
Absolutely. Oh, what about the new coffee house we read about?
Yes, it's down by the seafront, I think.
In here, come on, let's go.
What? Let go of me. I can walk into a room without you men handling me.
Move! Now, sit down there. The Chief Inspector will be along shortly.
Joe O'Callaghan, nice to see you again.
Sir, I don't know what you think I'm after doing, but I haven't been near those Murphy lads since you arrested me that time. And I haven't so much as...
Joe, this has nothing to do with the Murphys.
Oh.
Detective Bradley, you can leave. And close the door, please. I need to have a little chat with Joe here. Joe, this is not about any historic misdeeds of yours. This is about you, covered in blood, walking away from the scene of a very recent murder.
I don't know anything about that.
About what?
About a murder.
But you were in the Phoenix Park on Sunday evening.
Well, yes, but I was just walking through the park, going to the pub.
Where were you coming from?
From Chapel Izzard. I finished up a job. You know I do a few carpentry odd jobs. Well, I finished up earlier than planned and decided to get a pint in Nancy Hand's. So I walked through the park.
I see. And then what happened?
Nothing. I didn't murder anyone anyway, I swear. I walked through the park and went for a pint, and on the way, I was attacked by this queer lad. He's your murderer.
You were attacked?
What? I mean, not attacked exactly, but this lad, he comes out of nowhere. I think he's in the bushes, and he's strange looking and muttering something. Very odd.
Strange how?
I don't know. It's hard to describe. Everything about him was off. He terrified me, if I'm honest. Big lad, strong, moved in a funny way. I couldn't understand a word he was saying. He was half naked, wearing some sort of shawl or something, and he was covered in blood. All over his face and his hands and everything.
So what happened next?
Well, he sort of growled and just shoved me. I staggered back and fell to the ground, and he just walked over me, trampled me like some damn juggernaut. I was so shocked at him. And the blood, and the glow and everything. I just got the hell out of there. I kept running, and I bumped into Paddy, a brickie I've done a few jobs with. Anyway, we both went to the pub, and I've never needed to drink more in my life.
Go back a second. Did you say a glow?
What? Oh, well, I wasn't going to mention that because I thought maybe I was seeing things. Paddy wouldn't believe me, and we had an argument about it. I don't know. There was a kind of a glow or something coming from him.
I see. And you had been drinking at that point?
I'd called in for 1 or 2 in Humphreys before walking through the park. But that was it, I swear.
Right. So after this attack by a barely clothed, blood-covered, glowing, odd-looking fella, you went for your pints?
Exactly. And I can tell you, I needed a few pints after that one. Queerest looking man I ever seen.
And there's no chance that maybe you robbed and murdered another man walking through the park near where you were seen?
Jesus, sir, no. Murder. Look, you know me. I've taken a few opportunities where they've come up. Got my hands on a few things I shouldn't have, but I am not a murderer. That job with the Murphys, I got caught up with them before I knew who they were working for. Please, I didn't kill anyone. You have to believe me.
I do.
You do?
Listen, Joe, I didn't think it was you to begin with, and our little chat has only confirmed it. But I'm going to level with you. You're going to be executed for this.
What? No. Sir, what are you talking about? You just said you didn't think I...
Joe, calm down.
I swear, on my mother's grave, I had nothing to do with it.
Joe, breathe for a second. Let me explain. There are people involved in this who need this case wrapped up now. Your arrest, confession, and then a swift execution, shot while trying to escape, say, would work nicely.
But
would work nicely. I happen to think that summarily executing you for a crime I am all but positive you didn't commit is not something that would play well on my conscience. But my hands are tied. I need to execute you, or my superiors will send someone else to do the job. So I have a plan, and I'm afraid you're going to have to trust me. There are 2 other officers here I trust with my life. We are going to arrange for you to be shot, but we'll get you out of here alive.
I don't understand what's going on.
Do you want to be executed this evening?
No,
Well then, sit here, shut up, and do what I tell you when I come back later today. Have you any relatives abroad, Joe?
What? Well, yes, I have some cousins in Liverpool.
Well, have a think about what you're going to say to them, because you're going to be in Liverpool for the foreseeable future. I've been told you're unmarried, no kids, so you'll be grand. Fresh start.
I don't know if I can. I've got my friends and work and...
Liverpool, Joe, or you'll die tonight. Your choice. I'll be back later.
Those pastries were magnificent. I'm so glad we went all the way to Kingstown now. A pity the day started with you being warned about your impending doom. But all in all, a very pleasant morning.
It was a pleasant morning. Mortal danger aside. And those thugs can rummage through my house all they like. There's nothing to find. Or at least nothing they'll be able to find. Oh, wait. Did I tell you I've been dictating all my notes for this on that phonograph I got? When the police searched the house, they had no idea there was anything on it.
Oh, look at you, Detective Malone. Well, I've been doing some investigative work of my own. I sent out a dozen letters yesterday to anyone I could think of who might be able to help. I'm hoping some of them will be answered today.
And I mocked you for the quite frankly ridiculous number of letters you seem to write every day.
Precisely. It pays to be a thorough and regular correspondent. So, do you want to come in and we'll plan our next move?
Wonderful. Oh, wait. Who's that man standing outside your door up there?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the man from yesterday. Anya O'Dwyer's husband. What was his name? Simon. What's he doing here?
I guess we're going to find out. Mr. O'Dwyer? Good afternoon. Are you waiting for me?
No, but Miss Malone here left this address and here I am. And you'd better have some goddamn answers.
Whoa, Mr. O'Dwyer, answers for what?
Anya has been taken into custody.
Oh, I thought she'd already made her statement to the police. Listen, would you like to come inside and we can have a cup of tea and...
No, I don't want tea. I want to know why you came snooping around asking questions of my wife in my house. And now suddenly Anya's taken off by the army.
The army? I thought you said that it was the police.
I said she was in custody. I don't even know where she's been held. 5 men barged into my home yesterday demanding to see Anya. When I tried to ask what was wrong, they shoved some official paper in front of me and proceeded to escort Anya away. I didn't know what was happening. Anya was saying she'd already talked to the police, but they said they were conducting a different operation. And when I tried to ask where they were taking her, I was pushed against a wall for my troubles.
Mr. O'Dwyer, I can assure you I have no idea what has happened to poor Anya. She seems like a lovely woman and I'd never wish her any harm. I was just trying to work out what happened in the zoo. I'm a journalist. It's my job. Look, I'm sure Anya will be returned safe and sound very soon.
Look, I'm sorry I shouted at you. I'm just at my wit's end here.
Of course. I totally understand. Can I ask, you said they were army men?
What? Oh, yes, they weren't in uniform, but trust me, I know an army man when I see one. My father and grandfather were both in the military, and these men were soldiers.
And you're sure you wouldn't like to come in and sit down, and we can see if we can be of any more help to you. I can offer you some tea and scones, and we just bought some wonderful gooseberry jam in Kingstown this morning in this delightful little...
Fran, I don't think he cares about the jam.
No, thank you, truly. I have a few army contacts I can talk to who might be able to help. I've already been to the zoo, and it seems that the others there on the night of the murder are unexpectedly not in today. They seem to be rounding them all up.
I don't know what to say, Mr. O'Dwyer. Perhaps there was something more to the murder and they're simply bringing in the witnesses again to clarify some points. And they'll be all home by this evening.
You're probably right. I'm going to talk to my army contact, see what I can find.
Good idea. And we will let you know if we hear anything at all about Anya.
Thank you. Take care.
That's a new development.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Miss Malone.
Hello, Bill. We're back. We're going to work in the study. Is the fire lit?
It is, ma'am. There are fresh scones from the oven too, if you'd like one.
Now we can try the jam, Francis. Could you put this on the scones, please, Bill?
Of course. And a letter arrived for you, Miss Hunter. Hand-delivered earlier.
I'm exhausted. What a day, and it's barely past lunchtime.
So, what do you think is going on with Anya? What are the army doing with her?
Yes, strange it's not the police. And all the other witnesses from the zoo taken too? If the murdered man was the chief secretary's son, then surely it must have been politically motivated. Republicans sending a message, maybe? I mean, Redgrave was fervently against the last Home Rule bill.
That seems reasonable. So the army are investigating alongside Burton and his men? Entirely separately? Seems unusual. And then, lest we forget, Professor Lombroso seems to be connected. Or has he been dragged into this?
Actually, before we heard about this army business, I had been thinking about all of this, and there is one angle we hadn't really followed up on.
Oh?
Spiritualism.
Ah, Francis. Is this the ghost running through the park again?
Yes, well, no, not really. It was what Dr. Williams said to me when I went for that very important GP visit.
How's your neurasthenia, by the way?
Debilitating, Margaret. It's a miracle I can move at all.
So, Dr. Williams then?
He mentioned that Lombroso was an ardent spiritualist and was attending seances in Dublin. He was very disapproving about it all. Renowned professor, tricked by fraudsters and all the rest.
And?
Well, it just seemed like something we hadn't looked at. Remember I said I'd sent out some correspondence, following up on a few of our leads? Well, I sent a letter yesterday to Letitia Fitzgerald. Do you remember you met her a few months ago at that dreadfully dull party her husband gave?
Oh God, yes. The one with all the septuagenarian barristers.
They weren't that old. But yes. Anyway, Letitia and I have a shared interest in theosophy. And with my involvement in the Theosophical Society in London for a time, we...
Oh, not the astral projection again.
Yes, be quiet. The point is, she's always up to date on the spiritualist goings-on in Dublin.
And that's the letter you just got?
It looks like it, yes.
Tea and scones.
Oh, thank you, Bill. They look delicious.
So, let's have a look at this letter. My dearest Francis, thank you for your kind letter. We really must meet soon. We barely had a chance to chat at my recent soiree. Anyway, you stress the urgency of your inquiry, so I've quickly put down what I know here, and I hope it can be of some use to you. As you know, there have been a marked increase in spiritualist activity in Dublin in recent years, and several prominent members of society have been won over to our great cause. You asked about Professor Cesare Lombroso. He is very well known in the spiritualist community and especially well connected in Paris and London. We at the Dublin Theosophical Society...
Wait, they have their own society here too?
Well, it's just a few people at this point, but let's leave that aside for a moment. We at the Dublin Theosophical Society were of course delighted to hear that the professor was visiting Dublin. From what I have learned, he was meeting some important spiritualists alongside his other professional duties. There was talk of an informal dinner or meeting near the hotel he's staying at. I believe the Gresham, but I wasn't able to confirm this. Finally, you didn't ask about this, but it might be important. I just received with that too. Oh, that jam is delicious.
You just what? Oh my God, Fran. Finish the scone first.
I just received word that 2 very gifted mediums, one a good friend of mine, were arrested last night. We are, of course, used to scepticism and intimidation from the authorities, but these were 2 very respectable women, and from what I've heard, were taken away in a most brutish fashion. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can tell you for now, but I'll be in touch in a longer missive with all the news as soon as I can. Yours, etc., Letitia.
That's got to be the army then, with the same aggressive arrest as with Anya.
Yes, it sounds like it. And now we can follow up on our other lead.
Lombrosso's address.
Exactly. Assuming Letitia is correct, then the great professore is at the Gresham Hotel, but a 20-minute stroll from here. I think we have to go talk to him.
We do. Once we finish these scones.
Excellent plan.
Good evening, Joe. You remember Detective Bradley? He's going to help me with our little plan. I hope you've had some time to take it all in.
Honestly, I don't know what's going on, but I trust you, and if you're telling me I'm to be shot unless I go along with whatever you're planning, I'll go to Liverpool or whatever I need to do.
Good man, Joe. I've organised somewhere for you to stay this evening. I'll meet you there as soon as I can, and I want to get some more details about this man you saw in the park. First, though, you're going to have to be shot.
Right.
We've arranged to transfer you out of the castle. There's a carriage just outside the gates. When I give you the signal, you're going to hit Bradley, run and head towards Ship Street. Bradley and I will make a commotion, shout stop, and then I'll shoot my firearm near you. I won't hit you. Now this is important. All you need to do is fall down when you hear the shot and stay down. Bradley here will carry your body into the carriage. I'll deal with the commotion and we'll get you out from there. Clear?
But well, am I not supposed to be killed, sir? Will your superiors or whoever not want to see a body?
They will, and we have that covered. Luckily for you, they neither know nor care what you look like. Just leave it to us. So, you understand what you need to do? Hit Bradley. Make it look convincing in case there's onlookers.
Maybe not the face, sir.
Sorry, Bradley. We need this to look right. Joe, punch Bradley in the face. Just give him a black eye or nothing serious. Then run and fall down when you hear the shot. Simple. Understand?
Yes. And, thank you for not killing me.
You're most welcome. But I swear to God, if I come across you again in connection with anything, I'll shoot you myself. And it'll be very real. Now, let's go. Bradley, grab the door. Okay, just across here. Come on, speed it up a little, lads. The carriage is just outside the gate there. Constable, get the gate for us there. We're in a hurry with this prisoner here.
Yes, sir.
Right, nobody around. Run that way, Joe. Wait for it. Wait for it. Now. Hey, prisoner on the run. Stop or I'll shoot. Bradley, did you shoot him?
What? No, that wasn't. I think. We got him, sir.
Who the hell is... Oh, Jesus, no. Bradley, check on Joe. What did you do, Constable?
I saw the prisoner run, and I wasn't sure if you had the angle, so I took a shot. I was aiming for the legs, sir, to bring him down.
Aiming for the legs? At that distance? I think you've killed him.
He was attempting to escape, sir. You warned him, clearly.
I know I did, but... Bradley, how is he?
Dead, sir. Chest wound.
Shit. God damn it. What's your name, Constable?
Second class head constable Peter Staines, sir.
Right, Staines. Get some men to help Detective Bradley here. And keep that crowd back. Report to me afterwards. We'll need a full report on file.
Sir. Oi, everyone back. It's a police matter.
Fuck.
The Greatest Matter was written and directed by Conor Reid. It was recorded at the Podcast Studios Dublin and produced by Hilary Barry, with editing, sound design and original music by Conor Reid. Margaret was played by Margaret McAuliffe. Frances was Amy O'Dwyer. Chief Inspector Burton was Darragh Smith. Joe O'Callaghan and Diarmuid Malone were played by Donncha O'Dea. Simon O'Dwyer and Constable Staines were played by James Ward. And Detective Bradley was Conor Reid. This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network. For more on the network, all the great shows, and details of how you can support this show, go to headstuffpodcasts.com. And for a deep dive into all things The Greatest Matter, you can head to thegreatestmatter.com, where you'll find actor bios, links, further reading, images, full scripts, and lots more. Thanks for listening.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.